There are less than 3 weeks to go before Christmas, and retailers have high hopes for the rest of the holiday shopping season. The National Retail Federation expects a growth in spending this year of around 3 to 4% over last year. That means consumers will spend roughly $966 billion. As Delane Cleveland reports, much of that shopping is still done in person, but stores still need to give people a reason to come into their buildings.
Ladies finding everything okay? And then some.
With just a few weeks to go until Christmas,
Are you a rewards member with us?
the rush to find the perfect gift is on.
Tons of stocking stuffers, candy, trivia games.
And what better place to go to find good things than, well, good things?
Good Things is my favorite store when I don't know what to buy for someone.
This small family-owned business at the shops at Arbor Lakes specializes in unique gifts,
You all set?
which helps to explain why business was steady on a weekday morning.
I'm getting ideas for my great-grandchildren who have everything, but they don't have some of these things.
The unique selection is one of the reasons why Good Things survived the pandemic.
The pandemic was brutal on small retailers.
University of Minnesota marketing professor George Johns says while retailers are expecting a record year,
Thank you so much. Nice to see you, my dear. Thank you.
the situation is still murky.
There are things that are looking good and there are things that are not looking good. You know, inflation's coming down, but interest rates are high.
However, 85% of retail sales still happen inside of a store.
Would you like me to set your items behind the counter while you shop? Awesome.
But retailers have to give people a reason to come inside.
We survive solely because of the customer service that we provide. For sure. Awesome. It's kind of a lost art at this point in time. So I got it. You got it? I got it. Yeah, we're good.
Teresa Klettenberg manages this Maple Grove store,
And you're all set, Sharon. Thank you so much. Have a great holiday season.
which isn't having any issues with foot traffic.
It's keeping us busy. Things are flying out the door.
And the hope is that with stellar customer service and a wide selection of products, that Good Things will, in fact, have a Merry Christmas.
Good Things is always a good place to come.
In Maple Grove, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
3 men were charged in connection with a robbery and car chase that started in the parking lot of the Brooklyn Park Target. 23-year-old Preston Taylor, 33-year-old Jason Mayberry, and 35-year-old Darren Spears were charged with first-degree aggravated robbery. Taylor was also charged with fleeing from police in a motor vehicle. The criminal complaint alleges that Taylor, Mayberry, and Spears robbed and assaulted a woman as she was leaving Target with her kids. They then fled the scene in an SUV allegedly driven by Taylor. Police followed and the suspects crashed into an unrelated vehicle. Police eventually stopped the SUV with a pit maneuver. The 3 suspects ran from the scene on foot and were arrested. SEEP in Brooklyn Center is preparing its season of sharing holiday programs to support those in need. SEEP helps brighten the holidays for about 3,000 children with a toy distribution program. Parents can come into SEEP and pick out unwrapped gifts to give their kids. Meanwhile, the nonprofit expects to provide about 3,000 holiday meals to those in need throughout December. Volunteers will deliver some of those meals through the Meals on Wheels program. SEEP services seniors in 8 cities in the northwest suburbs. Families can also pick up holiday cooking essentials through the SEEP Food Market. SEEP says visits to food shelves have doubled in Hennepin County in the last year. They ask the community to continue providing food and monetary donations to support their neighbors.
SEEP's goal is to help families not need to choose between a warm, cherishing Christmas with their family or paying the bills.
SEEP is also looking for new volunteers. More information is available at seep.org. A 36-year tradition of goodwill for those in need continued this week in Brooklyn Park, thanks to a huge donation.
I have so many memories waking up Christmas Day and being surrounded by these great gifts and everything. I think being able to give that experience to people who not necessarily have the means to do so is incredible, to give somebody that experience so that everybody has it growing up. I think it's important.
That sentiment was shared by many of the people who gathered at the Brooklyn Park Fleet Farm this week for an annual toy shopping event. The Northwest Jaycees donated $12,000, and the Crystal Robbinsdale New Hope Rotary donated another $1,500 to help buy toys for women housed at domestic violence shelters in the metro area. David Dumas has organized this event since 1987, and he says this is the most money he and his group of volunteers have received. The generosity helped fill a lot of shopping carts with toys.
Well, it's neat to help people out, and especially this big a thing, because that's a lot of money and that's a lot of toys and stuff like that. And we've been doing it for 36 years now, so it's been quite a time.
If there are too many toys and the shelters don't need them all for Christmas, they save the toys to use for birthday presents during the year. Well, with cold Minnesota winters, we're no stranger to a bulky winter coat. But experts say in the car, it's important to take coats off before you buckle up. I spoke to an expert from North Memorial on how you can buckle safely and still stay warm in the winter.
We know how people are injured and do a variety of things to try to prevent injury so that people don't have to come and see us at the hospital. In winter, we want to be careful about bulky clothing and how that might affect how a car seat or a seat belt fits. What actually looked like a tight-fitting harness actually had a lot of room. And in the event of a crash, that crash force could move the baby and cause the harness to hit the baby across a soft part of his or her body. So this baby, we have buckled her safely in the car seat, and then we have bundled the warm clothing on top of her. We need to remember that nobody plans for a crash. We need to make sure that every person in every seat in a vehicle is buckled safely for every trip. What looks like a comfortable, warm winter gear and a snug-fitting harness is actually a loose harness because of the extra roominess that's in this winter clothing. He can take his winter clothing and actually even put that coat on backwards or just over the top, along with a blanket. It's really important that everybody who's riding in a vehicle is buckled up safely for every ride, so every seat, every ride,